That would be
Yeah, why not?
responsible. I'm going to be the responsible one and press record here.
Well, I guess it's non-consensual. Courtney, as you hear this, understand I did not consent to recording. Kelly pushed me.
I did.
As you all do. I don't think this needs to be super lengthy. I'm sorry, I didn't. I thought I'd sent this. I really did, and there it was sitting. Yay. But it's really kind of it's some of the ideas we talked about last week. It's not everything incorporated yet, but it's definitely. So my main thoughts on this are, and it's in keeping with trying Zoom here, which is going great so far, are just more interactive collaboration and more consistent collaboration, so that we can be teaming on this more. And I'm not, we were, and then just more frequent updates of this. And one of the pieces of that is that Kelly sent out, or did you send it out? Kelly set up a folder that we'll share on the company Google Drive. Everybody actually has access to everybody's folders unless you express otherwise. It's just you need the link. Kelly, I got the file link. Did you send the folder link?
I'm not sure if I did the folder. I think I may have. I can check.
Well, why don't we also, if you send that, I can do it, or you can do it. We should link that on Trello too, and that way we'll have like one repository and stop linking individual files, because I think that's where the Trello thing is getting confusing. It is for me. So, so I think if we just have one link and we keep going back to that for whatever's current, I think that will be better. I did want to discuss, but then I don't think I'm going to advocate for it like I thought I was. If you use OneDrive, if you use Microsoft's cloud solution, you can actually collaborate on these real time. Like you could edit them and that kind of thing. I thought about that. I looked into that last week, and I don't know. I just don't want to add all that right now. I think, it's probably a fine solution. I just don't know that I want to go full down that road unless somebody else wants to. But I want you to know it's an option.
I think it's probably better not to, because I think if we're all fiddling around with it, then we won't know which one.
Yeah, I think so too. It sounded, it was a better, I think, theory than real thing. So I just wanted to say that it is an option.
Okay.
Like we collaborate on other things on Google Drive, but I think now I'm advocating not doing it. So I want to go quickly through this. What I want to do collaboratively now is, for each of these calls, I want to take notes while we do it on the individual slides if we have individual notes, and I'll be responsible for doing that, and I'll show you my idea for that. And then sometimes I'd like to maybe offload some of the work if you all would like, if there are things that you want to take on as sort of just collaborative side things, if that makes sense to anybody. If not, that's fine too.
Yep.
Can you all see my screen okay?
Perfectly.
Yes.
Okay. So the thing I'm doing, I have there's a couple, this is the very first slide, and this is everything combined right now, without every change finished. What I'm proposing we do is put this just little section on the right that just as we go through a slide, keeps a list of what things I or anybody have to do on that. And we can put names to those things, but just keep it simple. It's just literally, this is just a PowerPoint text box. This is nothing interesting. And then we just need to remember to remove those all. There's one on each slide right now. Obviously when we publish the final, but I don't think that will be a problem. And the other thing I wanted to point out on this slide is, I don't know if I talked to you about this, Kelly, but I think I talked to Ruben. I think every time we hide a slide, we should have a tag on it. Something saying this slide is hidden and why. And so what I did is, for instance, on this slide, you'll see that I'm giving them a reason why it's hidden and why they would show it.
Okay.
And then I wanted to have a button to go to the first slide. That may not be possible, as it turns out. I might just do something else or put something there, but because Microsoft sucks. Microsoft doesn't let you lock elements, and it's like a big furor in like the big professional PowerPoint design world, that you can't like make this clickable. In fact, there's no way to make this so I can't edit it, which is stupid. So I may look a little bit more into doing that, but I'm not going to spend tons of time on it because it's not a primary task. So I propose we just go through these right now, and I'm just going to do it in the edit mode, so you won't see the animations, but you've seen them. And I think today, if we want to get some high level to-do list stuff, that's great, but I just wanted to go through the process more. And if you like, we can spend more time than that. It's up to you. So any
All right,
thought?
go for it.
Okay. So
I think it'd be good though, after you do it in edit mode, I think it would be good to show the animations because some of them are pretty cool.
They are, and some of them need to be updated too, but you're right. And well, you know what, let's try this, Kelly, because I don't know how they're going to work in this form. If they're going to work on Zoom or not. Let me give it a shot. Especially.
Oh, they work. Yeah, they work fine.
Well,
I mean, maybe not fine, but whatever you have on your screen is what will come up for us.
Well, but I have two screens, so when I hang out, well, we'll try. Why bicker? We'll try. Okay, so this, you probably see the trainer screen, right, or the presentation screen.
We see everything. We see it's like the presenter.
I know. Stop saying everything though, because I don't have more than one monitor, because I don't know which one you see.
We see both. The one that says trainer notes, and then the next slide that says filling emotional tank.
I know, but there's also a screen that has just the presentation. You won't see the animations yet. So let me see if I can. Oh, here. How about do this? Is that better?
Now I see trainer notes. Do not show the slide.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the actual presentation mode. That's cool. Yes. I'm glad that works. Yeah. That's really impressive. So right now what we have is filling the emotional tank. We still have this, which I think needs to be replaced. I'm sorry, not replaced. I think we need a slide that does exactly the same thing that doesn't look like this. Or not. I mean, we could, there's originally in the original manuscript, we had some pickup slides that were the same, and we still could. That's really just up to y'all. Any thoughts on that before we press on?
No, what I was thinking, Joe, and I don't know if this makes sense, is to go through the edit version first so that you can see the activities suggested, and all that, and then the animations at the end.
Oh, I thought you were saying the opposite. Okay, that's fine.
I don't know how much Ruben's looked at this, but I think it's better for him to see what we do have hidden.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Okay, so then let's go through it. So I think this will go at my version in my brain of this is that there will be a small handful of slides that will go at the top of every deck. If we were to do this again, one of the kind of the help slides. And I'm also thinking about, I was thinking the other day about composing a slide just explaining some of what we're doing here and some of the elements, which I'll put together. So, why are there side elements and things like that? And you'll see I do that a little bit later too. So this is just on hiding and unhiding slides. This is that. I don't know if we need that. Just explaining what that would probably go first, actually. Let me flop those. So this be first. This be hiding and unhiding slides. As I showed you, I wanted to make a button to this, but that might not be possible. This is going to be our resource slide, like we talked about, which is link-based. And one of the things that I do think I need support on is developing those pages. I think starting with just what text goes on them, and then if there's work to be done to actually, I think Ruben was on the call, I don't know. I talked to Eric Fisher about it's fine to host this on the PCA site as static pages. So, that's where those links could point. And I think we were pretty much in agreement that that's the way to go with this, unless I hear otherwise.
No, I think it should definitely say resource page at the top so that the trainers know. I know it says hidden slides, trainer notes, but I think they should know that this is just for their own personal resources. So it's not notes having to do with the actual PowerPoint. It's just resources for trainers.
Normally I'll put this in the to-do, but since it's just a word change. Okay. Title slide. If you want to stop me on anything, please stop me on anything.
Yep, I will.
This is so these two go in tandem, and I hope I indicate that here, that it says hidden slide, and I'm using red and green. We can change this up. This is just an example of what to do with, like I said, I think I want to tag every hidden slide if that's okay. So this is, actually that should be a different, let me fix that. There we go. This is the explanation of my Angelo activity, but it's also a template for activities in general. I like that it's simple and quick. I thought, Kelly, if we do eventually have resources of trainers in action doing any of these things, that we would do those as links.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if we can, because that lets us do it later.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Anything else on this so far? Okay. This is the accompanying slide. Are you comfortable with the slide as it is, and are you comfortable with the presentation of how we're explaining that to trainers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it makes sense.
And I'm gonna my other thought is I'm gonna send these all out like after the calls. Like whatever we do here, I'll just send out so you have it if you want me to. It's gonna be, or should I just put in that folder, Kelly? Or do you not want? Well, I have a ton of files, drafts and different versions and iterations. How much do you want me to send, and how do you want me to send it? Is it helpful? I like we're recording this call. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's the record keeping we have until we have like major changes. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what everybody needs to see. I thought, I think just I don't think we need to see every single draft if we agree on what we're going to agree on. Sure. Maybe just the final version.
Mm-hmm. Ideal. Okay, so this is another activity. Questions, thoughts, funny stories. I need to make these more consistent in terms of some of the design. I would try not to focus too much on design, but if there are major things, please point them out. I mean, point anything out really.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to be a matter of helping to train the trainers to know that because we offer 3 activities doesn't mean you are to do 3 activities for every single time. They're, that's going to be the tricky part, is the training part and how they understand how to use it. But
well, okay, actually, let's do this. I like what you're saying here. So you said, Kelly, to include like some explanation for trainers on how the activities, or how to select activities, basically.
Right. Yeah, the selection of activities, not necessarily what the activity is, but.
Right.
Is it basically when we have a 2 or 3 activities clustered together, hidden, the idea is that trainer chooses one of those?
Yes.
So I think
one of them is discussion based. One of them is like kinesthetic, like where they're up and moving around, and one of them might be a role play. For every one, I don't have 3 activities, but that's the point, is that you're not doing the same type of activity for Elm and for Etank and for Honoring the Aim. You're choosing different types of activities.
Yep.
So this one has 2 or 3, Kelly, do you recall?
2 or 3 what?
Activities.
I think this has 2. This has the discussion of the how the coach made you feel, and then it has the
drill.
like I have them A and B. Like if it's optional activity A and B, then the next
perfect.
A, B, and C.
I like that.
And we can even put like optional activity A. We could put discussion based or something, like where it says at the bottom activity option. It could be like discussion, small group discussion option, because it could be a pair share, it could be a discussion, it can be. They all don't have a. I'm just.
No, I'm just saying on this one.
The word activity. I'm nervous always whenever you hear activity. A lot of trainers are like, "Oh, activity," but it's just a discussion.
You know what I'd rather suggest than A, B, or C would be that, just because I think it's more clear.
Oh, okay.
Just so they know when they're looking at, like, this is 1 of 3.
Uh-huh.
And then just something like,
but I don't want them to think that there's, okay, I see what you're saying. I just don't want them to think that there's 3 activities on this one slide. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, I think this is good to tell them in the beginning, but I want each activity just to be on its own slide. I don't want them to think that.
Oh, no. Yeah. Do you feel that's not indicated by the 1 of 3? That's what I assume when I see 1 of 3.
Yeah, but you put like select 1 activity for this point in the workshop. I think that should be above it, not on the slide where the activity is.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Okay, so this slide, I thought we would say, like on a slide in the beginning of the workshop, we would say each section is going to have, 3 optional activities for you to pick. Select one that, works for you, or one that you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not on, and then this slide, the activity slide is itself. It's not going to say select one activity, because they're going to think there's more than one on this actual slide. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel you. So I think that would be encompassed in.
And I don't know, I mean, what do you guys think? Rather than organizing them by like 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, would it be better for the trainers to see this is a discussion activity, this is a role play activity, this is a kinesthetic or getting up and moving around activity? Do you think that's easier for them to see rather than just having them have to read through it?
How about, let me show you an idea. And it's not role play. This is
as a discussion.
And then maybe have this be
Like the title.
Like highlight. Like I'm thinking like something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, oh shit, sorry. PowerPoint, you hate me so bad. PowerPoint is really like a bad program. It's really not well constructed in terms of just doing things consistently. See how my discussion got screwed there? Then we got experience on instead of discussion. But yes, hang on, let me fix this real quick. Just, sorry, I'm not gonna make you do this usually, but.
There you go.
Something like that. Does that work for you? I think.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to have titles for these like this, like names for everything.
And maybe down at the bottom, Joe, is where you have activity option 1, activity option 2. Like, I mean, I don't want to put too many details, but I think it'd be good to let them know.
No, I think it's great. I have no problem with saying things multiply. I think it will take that for them to really assimilate this. They don't read things carefully, is my experience. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Some of them read everything meticulously, and some of them read nothing. That's my experience with the trainer notes that Ruben writes. Is that true, Ruben? Is that your experience?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's. I think that's.
Because I'm always pitching the trainer notes, and I know how much time you spend on them, and they're really elaborate and they're really good. I'm saying you should read Ruben's trainer notes. There's a lot of time goes into that, and they're really like so many times I'll ask questions that are explicitly answered in the trainer notes.
And then you've got some people, the new trainers, that say, "Welcome to the Triple Impact Competitor Workshop," even though it's typical Coach Ryan. They did read the trainer notes way too
quick. So it really is. It's like all or nothing. There's like the Mo Sandersons who are going to read, they'll read the trainer notes and probably, copy edit them. And then there's people who just don't there.
So let me just check in terms of our pace of this meeting. I do at the top of the hour have to join another call. It's with Pacific Lutheran University and Colleen Hacker and her group. Joe,
pick it up.
Well, yeah, and maybe you want to focus on what's changed here since the last time I looked at this.
Okay.
And or focus on anything you would want my input on.
This is the first time you've seen this together, so maybe just go through it more quickly. Would that help?
Sure.
And I'll be cognizant of your time frame that you probably need a couple minutes to prepare for that call as well, right? Do you need a lot of time to prepare for that call?
Couple minutes, 2 minutes. Okay. I can go like till.
But not like 20 minutes or anything. Okay.
No.
So I'll pick it up. These are the activity. I think it'll go faster as we go too. I'll fix that in the other ones, but this is the next activity. It's a role play activity. I'll make this match graphically. We started to talk about, let me take this out. Sorry, I don't know what that was. That was from Kelly's deck at one point. Sorry. Sorry, my other phone is not ringing with Spam calls. I get more spam calls now. Okay, so that's that. We looked at that. We looked at that. We talked about possibly that, and we do not need to answer that right now. This is, oh, that's duplicated. I'm sorry. I'll get rid of those. Sorry, that was combining several things here. Oh, no, it's not. I see.
No.
That's great. That's crazy. Okay. This is the stuff you've seen without edit, pretty much, except for I took out the list like we talked about. And just added prose as Ruben suggested. I think that's not designed or anything. It's just thrown in there right now. If you want me to stop at any point, go ahead. This is the same thing, but smaller, like Kelly had talked about, which I think does work way better. Still need to kind of clean up the design, but it's the essential, what you talked about. The Barbara Fredrickson stuff. Does this, Ruben had talked about this, and Kelly had built a slide for it. Actually, it should probably go more here, right? Like right after what fills Etanks in this, or maybe even, well, no, it can't go above that because it'll screw things up. Anyway, Barbara Fredrickson. I've noted here that we need to do something with this. Right now, this is just sort of the intent of the slide. I need to build something that's a graphic representation of the same intent, even if it's just sort of, graphic words, words as graphic. But need to fix that, and the same thing is true the next slide here. So those are already on the to-do list. This one, Kelly, is still the old version, so don't get mad and use the new stuff yet. It was already in there and I haven't changed it. Here though, this is important, and I'm working on these. I was going to work on these somewhat today. These connector graphics, Kelly and I have talked about, Ruben, somewhat extensively, that we want to have 2 or 3 threads that we signify and sort of make callback, like visual callback with a graphic, and one of them would be tools, so that every time we're talking about something that's a practical tool, that we would have a graphic that indicates that, so that when you're in the next section and you're doing something on a new tool, that they would always have some sort of indication that that's what we're talking about right now, because I think we want to focus on, we've talked about focusing on the importance of tools and what people do. That's just a placeholder. I don't know that it will go there. I don't know that graphically anything. I just want to make sure we indicate which slides would have them. And obviously it would not look like this. Thoughts, comments on that?
So, where you were just hovering, the practical coaching tools, that would appear on the slide, but when in presentation mode, it would not show up, or it would show up.
It would show up. It is for the participants. It's a visual cue that would connect some threads through the workshop that are not linear in the slides. So the better example, tools is a good example, actually. So every time in each section where we start talking about, here's some actual coaching tools. I do secretly think that's as much in some ways for the trainer, so that they're really emphasizing tools. But also more importantly, more specifically, is for the participants to be cueing back naturally to this is what I'm looking at right now. I really emphasize them writing down a list of tools during the workshop. So that's the idea there.
And so maybe I need to see the connector graphic that is to come to have an opinion on this. It seems like it makes the slide busy, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to focus on when I look at this slide. I've got a lot of places I can look. So I don't know if it, I might not completely understand the reason for doing it, but I'm not sure that it adds more than it takes away, in terms of, that's just my first reaction, first time looking at it.
Ideologically, it's a method of, and it's not necessary, anything can change. It's a method of connecting things throughout the workshop that are not contiguous. so that, the tools are a thread in the workshop. But so, how in previous workshop iterations, we've had at the end, hey, here's a list of all the tools we talked about.
Yes.
And frequently we don't use that, or frequently I don't use that, because I feel like if we're building the tools well in the workshop, they're not necessarily on that slide. So a lot of the tools that we've talked about, that coaches have developed, or so the idea is similar to that, in that we're connecting that's the concept. So it's not written in stone by any means. And you're right. I think you do need to see it. I also think at the outset, when we do the trainer slides, that it's something that the first time it comes across, a trainer would mention and say, hey, every time you see this, it's, talking about a tool. We're talking about something that you could practically do in practice or during a game that would bring, the emotional tank principle to life. Actually a way of doing it. So that's the thought. And like I said, it could certainly not be there. This is just that same animation set that you've seen. So I'm going to zip through this. So it's just the Etank, and then through what is one thing coach can be more effective. The player magically shows up. I think I'm going to tweak the text here. So I would consider that to be draft copy and not real. You also see here that the other thing I've chosen to do, which I think, because we had talked about this, Kelly and I think we did on the call too, if a trainer says, oh, I'll just take something out of this slide, they will break the animation for sure. So I think in those cases, if you could take a whole animation set out, but if they're going, I'm talking about this section here, if you can see my cursor, to say, hey, don't screw with this because you'll break it. So if it's a multi-slide animation, it's here. If you're just to recall how this works, I hope this is still going to happen there. So that this animation really covers. It's several slides, but the way Microsoft makes you do it now is they make you create these animations, and part of it even are off the slide, because that's how they make you bring it onto the slide. And so if a trainer were to just delete one of those slides, they would break the animation. Yeah.
That's a nice sequence, I think.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. It's kind of where I want it to head, which is good. So that's that whole sequence.
Joe, can I
yep.
just because I notice I'm doing it, and this might not, it might not matter, but I notice that I am actually turning my head to read, this slide as part of an animation set,
Really? Okay.
Again, maybe I do that once to read it the first time, and I just wonder if it needs to be sideways like that. If it
doesn't,
I don't know.
No,
I kind of like it.
It's a fair point.
So sideways. Well, I kind of like it sideways just because the trainers would know that will never be shown on a slide. And if it was vertical, I'm just thinking worst case scenario, somebody might think it's part of the
drag
slide.
it on. Yeah.
But if it's sideways, they wouldn't think that.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm okay with it, but.
I'm okay with it too. I
can turn my head.
I just noticed myself turning my head.
It's funny. I didn't even think. Yeah. It was. Yeah. More than anything, it was practical. That it's visual and it fits well into this aspect ratio. Yeah. Thanks, Kelly. That's helpful. Kelly went all Matrix on us there.
Yep.
Okay. So. Oh, I meant to. I had an early version. I fixed this, but so. Kelly, can we say what's one thing we can do to improve your coaching? This is Daryl. Can I pick it up really quick and then tell him I was calling right back?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl, it's Joe Trezzi. How are you? Can I'm on a, you know who that is because you called me, but I'm on a conference call at the moment. Can I call you right back in about within 20 minutes or so? Great. Talk to you in a minute. Thanks. Yeah. Bye. All right. So I would say something like, is this okay, Kelly? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How about, improve, improve or enhance?
Okay.
Just improve sounds like
we
okay.
think
Again, the assumption that I need improvement.
Yeah, I
And
pushed back on that too. I'm grateful you said that.
enhance sounds like, okay, I'm a good coach, or I may be a good coach, or I may not be, but I'm enhanced. So does this happen in addition to that previous sequence about what's the one thing most coaches can do to be more effective?
It does. What? I'm sorry. Ask that again.
Can you go back one slide?
Mm-hmm.
Go back another one.
Mm-hmm. I think you're thinking of this.
No.
No. Okay. Sorry.
So that one. What is the one thing coaches can? Okay. So I don't know.
Kind of done it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that was meant to be a follow-up where, okay, one thing most coaches can do to be more effective, and then what about you? I don't know. But one thing I want to point out is I think it's important that this slide say, what is the one thing most coaches?
Yes, I totally agree. Absolutely agree. And I think that's what we had on the previous version. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we could get rid of these. I mean, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, Joe, those were just the suggestions that I had from the other ones, just to show graphically. You didn't have to keep those in there. These were just when we were combining yours and the ones that Scott Stevator did. So they were just more for suggestions than keepers. Because I think you already have it. You don't have to put it in place.
Easy answer.
Joe, can you go back one more time to the one we were looking at that you put in the most on? The word most?
You bet.
What is the one thing most coaches can do to be more effective? Yeah, okay. I just wanted to see how it was worded. It doesn't say to improve or, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm grateful you said that because I work with trainers on that too, of not using words that indicate that they're looking at coaches as, a problem or from a deficit.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out.
The other part of it is not looking at them as a deficit or problem, but the other is that there's some coaches that we're going to get in front of that have a really good ratio.
Yeah, good point.
And could they, it may not necessarily apply to them as the one thing that they could do. Maybe they need to go to more clinics or, but I just think, I just don't like how broad that statement is without the word most in it.
Totally agree. And I also, I try to somehow temper that in a lot of my workshops by also focusing on their responsibility to mentor their lower level assistant coaches, in a high school setting. I had all high school varsity last week. And so, some of the things we talked about briefly because it was a short workshop was, these are things too, ways that you can help your assistants and your younger or less experienced coaches, if they're struggling.
Definitely.
As you're, I really like to quietly push that role of the head coach as instructor of coaches, because we don't really have a coach instruction institution in this country.
I don't want to slow us down, but and it just, what is the one thing most coaching staffs can do to be more effective? I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying it's another way to ask the question.
You know what? I think it is important. I don't think it's a side, but I think it's something we should bookmark as a difference when we do developing competitors. But need to be, but it's just an example of additional tools in the word graphic format. By word graphic, I just mean words as a graphic. And then this is, what was this, Kelly? This was practice and tool receiving. Okay. Another activity option.
So I thought that this appeared earlier in the deck.
Yeah, you're duplicating a couple things here. This was the activity, the slide you had before it that said, like, you just put the Duarte ones together, or the Scott.
Right. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You don't need them both.
Okay. So help me. Does this just move now, or does it tell me what to do here?
No, this is the activity slide. So take the other ones out above it that you said you wanted to make it into a graphic. Like, this isn't, you didn't need that slide that said. above it when you went
Keep going up. Keep going up. You'll run into a slide that has those three.
You made a note to yourself to make it into a
Oh,
oh. So I took this
So-
activity that was on a slide and I made it into an activity slide.
I see. So this slide, thank you. I was confused about that. I apologize. So this slide can go away?
Yeah.
Oh, or would we use it in conjunction with this activity?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it would be down with the activity.
So something, okay, so I would do something, and I'm not going to completely do it right now, but just so I can. I see what you're saying. Sorry, I was confused. Shocked. You shocked. I thought I copied. Oh, there's another Microsoft damn thing. Give me a second. Microsoft thought I was copying the text, not the box, because it hates the world. Wants to do evil. What? Oh, good Lord. It's not letting me. Okay, well, I will figure that out in a minute.
Yeah, I think you can take that offline and make that
Yeah,
those changes.
I just want to make notes for myself that I'm doing it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's easy. And then, thank you for explaining that. That's this. That's these. We looked at these. We're getting very near the end. Kelly, again, these were stupid master slide formatting. These I might have done the same thing with Kelly. I might have confused where they go. Woo! Thank you, Kelly. So
Kelly, do you have the Pro yet? Did you make the purchase? Oh, good. Nice.
Wow.
Upgrade. Yeah. Okay.
Rockstar. Oh, because we went past 40 minutes. That's I see why, Kelly.
Yeah, I said to Ruben, I said to Joe, I've never needed the Pro before, but then it just said, would you like to upgrade? Your meeting is going to end in 3 minutes. And I was like, well, no better time than the present. So
beautiful.
Not considered me being on the call being long-winded. Where do these go, Kelly? I'm confused on this. I'm sorry. And I'll fix the formatting and the design of them, obviously. So this is winner circle and this is positive. Are these in the right place?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, because they're near the end, right? They're culminating activities for the section.
Yeah, like the positive charting video would be shown first, and then the activity would go after.
Got it. Oh, duh. Okay, so this should go here. I see what you're saying. And then, would that be before or after these tools, do you think?
It would be, well, I mean,
could be either,
the
right?
activities I suggested are sort of in conjunction with the tools.
Got it. Okay.
So.
Okay, I'll make this make sense.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Making notes for myself. I can't type today. Okay, hide and explain. Good. This one, does this have anything that goes with it?
What's that?
Oh, this is positive charting. Did I put it twice? No, I did. Does winner circle have anything that goes with it? Or it's just the activity?
Winner circle, that winner circle activity just goes along with the slide that has the tools listed on it.
Okay. But that slide is going to be visible no matter what, right?
The slide that has the tools listed, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to, it always troubles me when we do this over 2 slides like this. Does that bother anybody else? It just feels like.
Can you show me go 21?
Yeah, so 21 is the toolkit, and then we have another one that says 5-to-1 toolkit, basically. So I need to fix the graphics on this, obviously. But so we have a list of tools, and then we have a list of tools. And it feels, I don't like this. I don't like how the tools come together here right now. It feels disjointed.
Yeah,
So
I think it's a lot. It's a lot on the slide too. I think it's
It is. Yeah, it is.
I don't know if it's because of the blue highlighted boxes or.
I mean, yeah, and I can do it better graphically in terms of it's a long. Basically, no matter what you do with it, the way we have the content now is, it's just a laundry list. It's a long list.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and.
We'll go up from here. Go up one more. Go to 21.
Mm-hmm.
So, like personally, I said when I did the activity slide,
Mm-hmm.
avoid non-teachable moments and criticize in private. I didn't think they were like tools that you would practice.
Mm-hmm.
asking permission, using if-then statements, and criticism sandwich are the actual tools that you could practice in a workshop that a coach could do. The avoid non-teachable moments and criticizing in private is just a strong suggestion of when to ask permission, if-then statements. So I think you don't need all 5. I think you only need 3.
Right.
Can I
That's
jump in?
point.
Can you go to slide 22 again?
You bet.
Okay, so yeah, they're different things. Okay, so Kelly, yeah, I like what you said there. So back to 21. So the first 2 are like considerations, considerations to make your feedback receivable, and then like Kelly said, the next 3 are the actual 3 concrete tools. And those 3 concrete tools really lend themselves to practice within the workshop, which is an upcoming activity. So, Joe, so maybe somehow, maybe criticize in private and avoid non-teachable moments don't have to be on a slide. Maybe they can just be in the trainer notes, or the script. But I think what Kelly said makes sense.
I can make that graphically make more sense, and actually that will help clean up the feeling of just crowdedness. My question then is, what separates the 3 tools on this slide? I know theoretically, but still.
These 3 tools on slide 21 pertain specifically to receivable feedback, making your feedback receivable. Okay, and so I think the way Jim Thompson organized it in his writing, in his books, is that the tool is receivable feedback, and then these are ways to accomplish that.
It also used to attach to a scenario. Should we put a scenario back?
I'm going to walk that back. It is a little clunky. But this set on slide 21 is for making your feedback receivable. Then when you go to slide 22.
Those are the tools.
These are additional tools.
We don't have any more, and we could. These also attached to a scenario.
They could, or they do.
Well, they did in the previous version, is what I'm saying. So I forget the exact scenario, but it's you have a player who something.
Well,
the player needs a lot of
yeah.
I think one of the most concrete things we can do here is remove non-teachable moments and criticize in private from slide 21 somehow, some way. And we have 3 tools for receivable feedback, and then we have 3 additional tools to help you reach the plus-minus ratio. I mean,
okay, make it work.
I think it can work, especially visually if the slide doesn't look crowded.
So still, yeah, that will help. And then, so this is tools for receivable feedback. This is tools for increasing the plus-minus ratio.
Yeah.
I think the first one isn't really tools, though. Like, it's not really a tool for receivable feedback. I mean, I'm probably being picky.
Well, that's what Ruben said, and that's in my note here.
Asking permission is a tool. It's a technique. It's a strategy.
Technique, yeah. Okay.
And using an if-then statement is, but if we want to call them something else, and I guess you could say then in the same way that avoiding non-teachable moments and criticizing in private is also a technique or a strategy.
Right.
Whereas I just feel like the bottom 3 are more, I don't know, more action oriented, more technique oriented.
It's something they can actually practice. Yeah. Criticizing in private is, I mean, I always bring that up in my workshops too, that we don't mean, pull the kid aside and then rip his head off just because you're in private.
I've never liked criticize in private the way it appears. For one, I don't think we want them to be in private with athletes ever.
Right.
So and then 2, the 2 is again the term criticize, because some coaches go, well, why would I ever criticize?
I have those same concerns. I really do.
I don't think we need criticize in private there at all. Do we?
I don't.
How about considerations? If we said considerations, is this, is this a moment where an athlete could receive the feedback? And secondly, is this something that you should speak with the athlete away from the team? I don't know. I don't like that either. Actually, the one thing
let's come back to this.
Okay, one thing I do know is I think we should swap these now that I'm looking at it, because we just talked about 5-1 here, and it probably makes more sense to connect the ratio one with this.
You know where the slide, the one with 5 can come isn't there some place where we say, well, what about correction? Or what about, isn't there a place where we say, what about critical feedback? What about right after that?
That's receivable feedback. Yeah.
I like that.
That way it'll set them apart.
It's so much better because they're not stacked right next to each other too, just pacing wise and how far they are from, that's a great point.
But now why is the Maya Angelou quote there on 14, Joe?
It's not.
No, that's Barbara Fredrickson.
Barbara.
Oh.
Yeah. She had a huge slam to some of her work. Do you know about this? Do you follow her stuff? There's a problem. There's a real problem with her research. Huge problem. She's been really heavily discredited. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, bummer.
Not discredited. The research methodology was discredited, but massively, and very almost like jokingly. It's bad. Well, we can talk about it later. Sorry, it's a whole thing. So okay, that makes way more sense. I like this.
Jump off in 1 minute.
Yep, gotcha. And well, we're good because we're done. And then this is another. And Ruben, you're right. You do need to see it. Another sort of graphic link that what Kelly and I talked a lot about. Ruben is really saying that in each section we want to say, explicitly, how do we connect this to the second goal? What things do we draw from this that teach life lessons and that you can really draw from to your kids? And it's interesting. I'll be really quick about this. I was talking to somebody, a coach the other day who was a coach in the martial arts, and it was really interesting because he asked what we do, and it's so much a part of who they are. Like martial arts is taught as a holistic life skill. They do herbal stuff and all this, and it was just really interesting that second goal focus for them is unequivocal because it's just built from the beginning. I thought it was very interesting. I don't know where that comes to. It was an interesting conversation. So we want to make sure we tie in every section. You're a double goal coach, and here's the what life lessons would you teach more than telling them, asking them, or asking them how they would draw the parallels.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm gonna make 2 comments that you guys both may find frustrating, but I just do what you want with them. One is, does this format, the way the hidden slides are and the instructions and the focus on second goal connector graphic to come, does all that make this tool easier for a trainer to do this workshop at a high level? Does it make it easier for the trainer to utilize this PowerPoint than what we've done before? I'm not 100% convinced it does. And then 2 is, even though I know many of these slides are hidden, for me, it feels like in a 20 or even 30-minute section, it feels like we're trying to do a lot. Like I feel like on those 2 slide tools, you could spend 20 minutes, practicing those tools. Now, would you actually do that? I don't know, but anyway, so those are just a couple of thoughts, and
they're good ones.
I know how complex this is, and Joe, thank you, and thank you, Kelly. And I'm sorry I have to rush off. I can't be late to that other one. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for Kelly. Stay for a minute. You good?
Let's see. How do I? Oh, there. I'm leaving the meeting. There I go.
You have to actually blow up your house. So that's fine.
All right, let me stop recording here because I think we're